Before every conversation, I take a moment to set the tone. We light this candle to welcome peace into the room, to invite spirit to lead the way. Because what we do here, it isn't scripted, it's sacred. These aren't interviews, they're exchanges of energy, of faith, and of truth. Every word, every smile, every pause, it's all a reflection of something greater moving through us. So right now, we invite peace, we invite presence, and we invite joy. Welcome to Focal Point. Welcome to Focal Point, the show where we bring you real conversations with real people, centering humanity and truth. I'm your host, Dr. Elijah Nicholas, and today we have an unforgettable lineup. My first guest is a creative, a mother, a producer, and a publicist whose influence extends across entertainment and culture. She's a woman who leads with authenticity, intention, and grace. Please welcome Chanel Hudson-Oconnor. Chanel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm amazing.
That's good.
How you doing today?
I'm well, thank you.
Welcome to Focal Point. It's good to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. So I'm excited to learn about Chanel, to learn about what brings you joy and just what's happening in Chanel's world today. So for our listeners who may have been under a rock, who is Chanel?
Well, Chanel is a wife. Chanel is a mother. Chanel is an entrepreneur. Chanel is a business owner. Chanel is that bitch.
Come on. Yes, that bitch.
All of the above. All of the above.
Okay.
But Chanel, I'm human, and I operate in a human space. So that's to sum it all up. Yeah.
I love that because people being human is something that our society has gotten away from.
Oh,
lately.
yes,
So
for sure.
to hear you say, I am human, that resonates with me. Because wouldn't it be beautiful if we all treated one another as humans?
Yeah, but this wouldn't be the world that we live in if we did that. So I feel like there has to be some type of imbalance in the world that we live in order to show up as humans.
Some type of imbalance.
Some type of imbalance in
What
the
do you
world.
mean?
I don't like anything to be perfect. And sometimes perfection, not every human is perfect. So you can't operate in perfection if you don't have imbalance. So I like to operate a bit in imperfection because that's what makes us humans.
I absolutely love that. Because I think when I think about your response, it makes me feel like striving for perfection is why we're in the place that we're in today. And people have this view of what perfect is. So I want you to be perfect in my image, what I think is perfect. So I
don't want to be perfect
that.
because then I will not be human.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I wish I would have learned that lesson like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I've always been a perfectionist and an overachiever. And so I've always strived to like, gotta do this, gotta get 100 on my test, gotta get 59 degrees.
Right.
So wonderful. So you're a mother, you're an entrepreneur, you're also a publicist, you're an actress, like you wear...
Oh, no, I don't act.
Oh, you don't act? Okay.
I've worked with actresses and stuff like that.
You work with actresses. Okay, so...
I probably would make a great actress, though.
You would be an amazing actress.
They got to find a role for me, child. I don't know what kind of role I'll play, honey, but I think that's something that I feel like God would open up for me when time comes. But I'm not like... That's not a passion of mine. That's just like, if the opportunity comes, I'll take it. But it has to be a real fit for me.
Okay.
But I've always seen myself acting and doing things that consist of that. So, yeah. Okay.
So you're a producer, though.
I'm a television producer.
Television producer. Yes. So you work with actors and actresses and stuff.
But I'm more on the true crime of creative. I develop Yeah, I developed.
So what does that mean? Tell me a little bit for our
Well,
viewers.
my
A
first
little bit about that.
documentary was a true crime documentary with Casey Anthony. And
Oh
she
wow.
is like the first, she was acquitted 10 years ago for the murder of her daughter.
I remember that.
And I had the chance to stay with her for a week in a home, which is, the
Really?
story is crazy. But I ended up building trust with her. And then I was able to produce her first ever on camera interview in
Wow.
over 10 years.
That's amazing. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking back because I remember that particular story. I remember the Casey Anthony story.
Yeah.
And it involved her daughter and her dad and like a whole bunch. Like I used to follow that case. So I was like probably following your work and I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I'm from Florida.
Okay.
So being from
Okay.
Florida, that was like something that was like a big thing during the time. And so when I had the opportunity to stay with her for a week in my best friend's house, I was like, I gotta shoot my shot. And I shot my shot. And 2 years later, she was like, I think I'm ready to tell my story. And I was like, you want to write a book? She was like, yeah. And I was like, we're going to do a documentary.
Okay.
And the rest was history.
Wow. Good job. Kudos to you.
And it also made me the first trans woman of color
Okay.
to produce or executive produce a major crime documentary for television.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. And that was 10 years ago, right?
No, that was in 2022.
Oh, that was that you did the documentary, but
The case was
happened
10 plus years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, come on. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Doing big things, being a human.
Being a human,
Being
working
a
with
human.
imperfect people
I absolutely,
that are also human.
I absolutely love that. So how is that like working on like true crime types of things?
I've been in public relations going on 13, 14 years, and I've seen so much. A big part of my career has always been to be like a crisis manager, professional fixer. And so I've always been obsessed with true crime. But as a publicist, you kind of don't operate in the true crime space. You kind of operate in the space of everybody wants to be perfect. Going back to that word. And so when the opportunity presented itself for me to pivot during the pandemic, I was like, what do I want to do? I love reality television.
Okay.
Not the ratchet condo, like the sophisticated kind.
The bougie kind.
Yeah, like the bougie kind. Like you can sip some wine with your girlfriends and watch it.
So you don't want to fight and stuff like that?
No, I can't do all that. Even though I like to look at it and peep through and be like, oh, she just beat her ass. I prefer like storytelling. So I like reality TV that I can follow that has a story. If it doesn't have a story and it's just fighting, then I don't follow it because that's not for me television. Television is all about storytelling.
Yeah.
So I thought about reality. I've been approached multiple times to do reality TV. I've said no to a lot of them. So I was like, I want to do reality because then I'm gonna want to put myself in front of the camera and you know all that. So I was like, what can I do? And I love solving mysteries, or I love uncovering the truth behind something that people are not privy to. So that's where the true crime interest came. And I love First 48. I love all those true crime, raw, gritty shows. And so when the time presented itself, I was like, murder case, acquittal, but people think she's guilty. So maybe we can find something there where people could start to change their mind about someone who was acquitted, but still in the public opinions finds them guilty. And that was kind of like my spiral of interest that kind of took a mind of its own and just took off from there.
So how did it turn out? Did you accomplish that? Did public opinion change about her
I
during
think
it?
that when you do true crime with such a polarizing figure like a Casey Anthony, people are going to not change their minds because for 10 years she said nothing. So people have their opinions already stuck in their minds. She's a killer. She killed her daughter. And I think the greatest part about our storytelling was there were revelations in there where it was just like, so if her dad said that there was an accident and her daughter potentially drowned, why was he the state's first prosecution? Why was he the prosecution's first witness? And why did he testify against his daughter opposed to testifying for his daughter? And that crossed over so many people's minds.
Wow.
And that was like a big thing in like episode 3 of the documentary. It's on Peacock for those of you who want to check it out.
Okay.
And it was kind of like the people that crucified her were confronted with that fact. And they were like, oh, we didn't think.
of that.
And then it just kind of was like, well, maybe she didn't kill her daughter, but now we need to figure out who did.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
after that, I think people already had in their minds she was a polarizing figure, so I think people already made up in their minds what they wanted to make up in their minds.
And I think life is like that. Like once we form an opinion about something, or once people form an opinion about us, it's like, oh, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And we don't give, I think, people space to be human and to pivot or change. I was this way today, I'm this way now.
And that's kind of that's like my upbringing. My
Yeah.
parents, they don't believe in trans. And so having a trans child was like an opportunity for them to understand, but they were like, no. My religion is my religion, my faith is my faith, and you go against all of that, and I have to get into the kingdom of heaven. And so because of that, it caused. So that's a reoccurring theme in my life, even in my professional career. So yeah, I'm accustomed to that. People not changing based on who you are. I just let people be people.
And so I think I heard you say something about your parents and maybe with, sounds like religion. Like these are our beliefs that doesn't fit in our belief system. And so.
And my dad was the pastor. So that's.
Your dad was a
And
pastor.
my mother was the first lady.
Wow.
And I was the down low trans person in the church that everybody knew something was wrong. But I started growing boobs at 12. And I started hiding them, putting on binders and like having to like pretend. So my life was a lot of pretending growing up. And then when I was like, I'm sick of pretending, I had to sacrifice from my family in the midst of me stop pretending, which is crazy within itself. But that's the story essentially.
It's like you had to pretend to so that you could be perceived as being perfect, like we talked. Like there's this model that you should fit in, and there's these.
If you don't
this
fit
doctrine,
that model, you gotta go.
You gotta go. Absolutely.
And I think that for parents out there who have children who are different, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so I've been through so much pain and suffering because it didn't work for them.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just trying to understand like what purpose means to me and what joy and all the other stuff means, because I for a long time didn't have any clue of what that meant at all.
So what does joy mean to you?
Crab legs,
shrimp,
food,
yes,
pepper shrimp, Jamaican pepper shrimp.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Okay.
Comfortable clothes. Rooms that I could blend into, that brings me joy. I don't like standing out. I'm really tall. So if I could blend in a room, that brings me so much joy in the moment. People not knowing that I'm trans brings me joy. So I don't have to have that awkward conversation and then watch people's face change. My family brings me joy. And I could finally say that because for a long time I was by myself. So now I have a family that brings me immense joy. So yeah, I have different things that identify with joy, but crab legs are top on that list.
Crab legs are top on the list. I wish crab legs were still top on my list. I developed an allergy about
to seafood, shellfish.
Yes, like 20 years ago.
Really?
When I moved to Georgia.
Oh, I don't know how I would. I don't know. You would have to kill me and bring me back to life.
It was tough. It was tough.
I can imagine.
That brought me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: How do you get to joy? Like, or let me rephrase that. How did you get to the place of identifying what brings you joy, considering your upbringing and your family not accepting you? When did you get what was the focal point for you? What was the turning point?
When I realized that I was not going to get closure from the things that caused me not joy, or the things that caused me not to be joyous. I think for a long time I was chasing the idea of, in order for me to heal, I need to find closure. And so for a long time that was my chase. It's like, I gotta find closure in order to heal. And then when I became like a mom, like a full-time mom, because I've always kind of had like a motherly mama bear type of thing with like fostering kids and stuff. But when I became like a full-time parent, it was kind of like, I have to find closure, or else I'm going to transfer all of my unjoy to this child who is nothing but joy. And so becoming a mom was kind of like, girl, you got to put that stuff to the side. And you can't worry about getting closure. You got to heal through you got to heal through your childhood, but you also can't transfer that to a child who doesn't
Yeah.
know what not joy is. So that was
Yes.
like a eye-opening thing for me, where I just stopped looking for people who have broken me
Mm-hmm.
to heal me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I let go of that, that's when I started to like uncover the small things that make me happy and joyous.
So what was the moment that you let go, if you can remember? Like, when
Walking
did you
down
say, this is it?
walking
Like,
down the aisle of my wedding by myself, and
mm,
having nobody to walk me down. Everyone that I felt like was a person in my life that could walk me down was so terrified of my family seeing them walk me down the aisle. And in that moment, I thought of Meghan Markle. And I
mm-hmm,
thought of when she had to go through all that stuff and still hold herself up and walk down in front of all these people, in front of the world.
mm-hmm,
And that was kind of like the moment, like, girl, you can't go into this marriage holding on to stuff. So I walked myself down the aisle, which was very depressing leading up to, but it was
mm-hmm,
also very empowering once I did it. And in
mm.
that moment, I was like, this is what euphoria feels like. This is what the euphoria of my life feels like. And even to this day, like, I still can't believe I got married. I still can't believe I had a dream wedding. I still can't believe some of the things that happened during
Mhm,
that time. So
mhm,
that in that moment, I was like, oh my God, bitch, I'm a
mhm,
trans woman getting married to a man who identifies as heterosexual,
mhm.
who loves me unconditionally, who sees me for who I am.
Yes.
And it was kind of like, I had no choice. It was like the joy was beaming out of me because I had no choice but to
Yeah.
be joyous. And
Yes.
even when you see the videos of me walking down the aisle, I'm just like beaming.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, in that moment, I was like, girl, you got to put that stuff in the past. You got to be happy. This is your wedding. And I
Mhm,
don't think I thought about that before walking down the aisle. I thought it was
mhm,
just like, oh, okay, just people are just coming to see me say I do. But
mhm.
that walk down the aisle is like,
It's a moment, huh?
it's pure euphoria when you're in
Mhm,
love. And
mhm,
then when you see the person that you love crying, it's like,
mhm,
oh my God, this is like, so that was like an aha moment for me,
mhm,
literally. And you could see
mhm.
me like looking sad, but then smiling,
Yeah.
walking down the aisle. That was an aha moment for me.
Wow.
Hmm.
It sounds to me like that was a bit of an awakening for you.
It was being proposed to,
Mhm,
putting on a dress, a white dress, like a
mhm.
virgin, like the Virgin Mary.
Like the
And
Virgin.
then seeing
Uh-huh.
like all of my college friends,
Yeah.
straight, gay. I didn't have a lot of trans people at my wedding, which made me
Mhm,
a little sad.
mhm.
But I've also never really felt like I belonged in this community, in the trans community.
Really?
Never.
Talk to me about
I
that.
just never felt like I fit in, ever.
Okay.
Ever. I've never really been to a ball. I don't do the pageant stuff. Even
Mhm,
though I've been around it, I
mhm.
just always felt like a misfit.
Mm,
And maybe that was because I was chasing the people that broke me to heal me. So I didn't
mhm,
take time to build community. I didn't really care to build community. I was like, I came from parents and they got to accept what it is. And that was like my thing. But then as I started to get older, I'm like, where's my community? I don't have a tribe. I don't have a
mhm,
village of
mhm,
like trans people to
mhm,
rally around. I don't have all that. I have a
mhm,
couple of trans friends.
mhm.
And that's always kind of been like my biggest regret.
Just having a couple of trans friends.
Just not having a village of trans
Mm,
like sisters.
mm,
That
mhm.
thing. I would always be. I never feel like I fit in ever.
So if you could imagine what that would look like, what would it look like, and what would it feel like for you if you had that?
I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that.
Wow.
Um, I don't know. I once
So,
had a trans girl tell me like, "You'll never be able to understand me because you never was a sex worker." I'm like, what you
wow,
mean? And it's like, girl,
wow.
you have never had like real experiences. I'm like, because I didn't become a prostitute, is what you're
Mhm,
saying? And they
mhm,
were like, well, girl, we can't relate. And
mhm,
then when I tell people how I grew up, they just think I'm better than them sometimes because I grew up in more of like an upper middle class,
mhm,
suburban, all white type of environment. And
mhm,
like certain behaviors were not privy to me when I came down here to go to
mhm,
college.
mhm,
And so I just always felt like they was looking at me and like, oh, she don't fit in.
mhm,
And I just feel like I've never fit in. I just
mhm,
never, I don't know. I can't explain it, but I don't think about that anymore. But
mhm,
I do welcome when trans people like to, get to know me and stuff. I do open myself up to welcome it. But
mhm,
there seems to be some sort of like, well, you ended up here
mhm,
and I'm still over here trying to figure out what it is,
mhm,
or their focus is men. Like, I married my first boyfriend. My husband,
Really?
yes. My
Wow.
mother was a virgin when she got married. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? So I come
Uh-huh.
from that background of like, I ain't finna have 25 boyfriends.
Uh-huh.
I could be a little whore though before I get married and have, multiple, do whatever I
Just
want
a
to do.
little
Yeah,
bit.
just a little piece.
Uh-huh.
But when I got into my first relationship, I was like, I'm gonna make this work.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been through so much in our relationship and things that happen. I'm like, okay, so you broke me in this relationship. I'm gonna give you the opportunities to fix what you broke. And
Mm-hmm.
then you grow stronger with that person. You don't just
Right.
leave and transfer that brokenness to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You stay and try to figure out if it's worth fixing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of like my thing. And so I don't know, I just never really, that kind of makes me sad though when I think
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
I never really had that village, but I don't think about it as much anymore. The older I get, the more I'm just like, well, that wasn't what God had intended for me. And so I
Mm-hmm.
got to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I totally relate to like being not necessarily an outcast, but like not fitting in. So I get that.
Hmm.
And, mine was growing up, my brother and I, we had three different fathers. And so
Oh, wow.
our cousins were our family, our tribe.
Right.
But, for us that was normal. It was just my mother, she hustled, she did what she had to do for her kids.
Right.
And then as I got older, I just kind of isolated, like I self-isolated because
I did too.
it just
It felt normal.
it felt normal.
Hmm.
And so that's why I asked you, like, what would that look like? Because oftentimes we don't even think about, like, we bury it so deeply, like, because we think it's not possible because it's not happening. So I want to encourage you to even just allow yourself to think about
I do. I have
the
friends
village
now,
looks like.
and I have like friends now that are in the trans community that I could
Mm-hmm.
call and we can have correlated conversation now.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've never been on a girls trip, like a
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend's trip. I ain't never been on a girlfriend's trip.
Okay.
And so stuff like that, I feel like, oh damn, I wish I would have had the chance to go on a girls trip.
Mm-hmm.
All of my friends I went to Morehouse for undergrad, so a lot of my
Okay.
friends are like gay men.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just, even with that group, I was always Chanel. They were always the other. I
Mm-hmm.
just never really fit into like even those groups. But I feel like I've learned to accept people for people and
Mm-hmm.
not look at gender. So I
Yes.
have more biological female friends than
Mm-hmm.
anything,
Mm-hmm.
and they uplift me. But then there's also a fear of you don't understand my convictions of being trans. So I'm always having to educate, which
Mm-hmm.
can be a bit of a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the only thing. But I have a village, but it's not a trans village, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I wish sometimes I had like more closeness to my trans sisters and
Mm-hmm.
brothers.
Okay.
I don't have that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to it, and I do
Mm-hmm.
have people that I talk to that I feel like I could call and
Yeah.
have conversations. But
Yeah.
when I see like other groups of girls being so close and
Yeah.
doing things together and like
Sure.
having those moments, it
Yeah.
does make me sad a little bit.
Yeah, I understand. I can tell you, I have one best friend. Well, I have three best friends, and none of them are of the trans
And it's
experience.
just hard.
And now I'm like, well, it is what it is. This is my
That's how
tribe.
I feel. That's
This is
how I
my
feel.
tribe. And these are the folks who stood with me through my transition.
Mhm.
And so, of course, you might be able to relate to this. I lost friends along the way because
Oh
of my
yes,
transition.
I have to.
But now it's like I'm cool with my village, and my partner is a woman of trans experience, and so like for me, that's my tribe. Like we get one another, so
Yeah.
it's like that's my tribe. But
Yeah.
one of the things I wanted to ask you about was
Sure.
Morehouse
Oh Lord.
and going to, specifically going to an all male university, like
Fun.
what? I guess it depends on how you
Fun,
look at it. Huh?
fun.
It could have been fun, or it could have been fun, or not.
Morehouse was a journey.
Uh-huh.
When I got there, the administration put out a dress code policy. And they basically put in the policy men should not wear purses, totes, dresses, do-rags, everything.
Wow.
There was a writer by the name of Aaliyah King in New York who wrote for Vibe magazine at the time. And she went to a PWI, and she was curious to know, why does an all-male black school have to tell the students not to wear purses and dresses and all this stuff? So she went on this journey to uncover who these people were, and it was me and my friends. It was me and a group of, like, they called us gender benders back then, that wore purses and whatever. And so my experience at Morehouse became an article in Vibe magazine called "The Mean Girls of Morehouse."
Oh, really?
And yes, because the student population called us the Plastics. And if you watch the movie Mean Girls, that's the group that was in school that was kind of like the popular group. But we were like the gender benders of the entire campus. Even other gay people at Morehouse would tell us to tone it down. Like, you're doing too much. And so we was like, oh, we finna just be who the hell we want to be.
Yeah.
And they targeted us, and they ended up writing this article. The president was pissed. And it became crazy. 10 years later, actually it's more than 10 years. I think it's 15. I'm asked to come back to Clark Atlanta and different universities to talk about it, because now it's like an urban legend for the kids that are coming in. And they still talk about it. It's still like a thing. So I didn't know it was still like a thing until the professors were like, our kids are asking for you to come and talk about this experience. When I think about it in hindsight and I look at pictures, we weren't doing anything but being ourselves. We didn't wear dresses. We didn't have, maybe we had a purse or two, but they were designer bags, so it should have been acceptable. I mean, it's a designer purse. It shouldn't be.
It's designer. They should be happy.
It's Gucci, Prada, Fendi. It's not Walmart, Target, Sears. It's not Coach. It's not Catch. It's, it's luxury branded stuff. So I don't even look at that. My friends were very much like materialistic in the sense of, oh my God, it's Gucci. Like, it's not a purse, it's Gucci. Like, it's almost like in White Chicks when when they chased the guy down who grabbed the purse out the store, and they was like, it's not a bag, it's Prada. So we was like, why are they hating on our designer bags?
Yeah.
But when we look back at pictures, we had on jeans and t-shirts.
Yeah.
And that was still too much for the administration and for the campus.
Yeah.
And I realized it wasn't how we dress, it's how we were as humans. And that became a target for them to say, well, we don't want you on this campus doing X, Y, and Z. And so after the article came out, they positioned me in the forefront of the article. Which I did not ask for, because 2 weeks before the article came out, I tried to commit suicide.
Wow.
And that was the headline that they used in the article.
Wow.
And so that became like a thing. And then when I tried to get jobs after school, they would look that up and be like, oh, so you're a rebel.
Wow.
And then you're also trans.
Wow.
And so, oh my God. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. So Morehouse was not the best experience, but I'm happy I had it. I'm happy I had it. And I'm happy that now when I go to Morehouse, you see trans joy on campus. Morehouse, Spelman, now they accept trans students. So I feel like me and my friends trailblazed.
Yeah.
Or we walk so others could run.
Yes.
And so that was like the pinnacle of like understanding, like, okay, back then it felt like hell. But now it feels like we did something that was meaningful for the community now. And so that feels good.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah,
because I'm
really
sure
good.
There's some freshmen out there that's happy that you paved the way, that they can walk in their freedom.
We went to homecoming last year and we met the new Plastics.
Okay.
Because they're a new group of kids called the Plastics, honey. They have on heels. They have their bellies showing. And me and my friends look at each other and like, we would never. But now it's like they don't care. Like they're like, this is who I am. I'm at a private school. I pay tuition. And people go to Morehouse. I don't think because it's an all male school. I think it's in the AU Center.
Okay.
So you have Spelman, you have Clark. But if you ever want to understand what it is to be Black, Morehouse will help. And I didn't understand what it meant to be Black when I got to Morehouse, because I wasn't raised typically in the typical Black environment. I'm the product of two immigrants from Jamaica. And so they raised us like we lived in Jamaica. And then my mother also put me in Jewish Hebrew academies. So I grew up predominantly in white environments. So Morehouse was supposed to teach me how to be Black. And then another thing was like, well, maybe I could go here and learn how to be a man. Maybe my dad will accept me if I go here. And
Yeah.
then the first day I was there, they wrote faggot on my car with red
Oh,
lipstick. And I was
wow.
like, oh, they want to see a faggot. I'm going to show them what the faggots be or whatever. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done pretending. I'm done acting like I'm this perfect person of how I was raised.
Yeah.
And I just ripped the face off of who I think nobody was expecting me to be. And then that was like that was the caveat for my parents being like, get away from us. Like, no.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So on one hand, it sounds like you found freedom.
But I had to sacrifice the family that I grew up with.
Yeah, that's a interesting, I think, duality that many of us walk in. So, Chanel, now we are at the point in our show where we're going to have you pull from the joy jar.
I love a joy jar.
You love a joy jar.
Love a joy jar.
Awesome. So I want you to pull a card.
Okay.
And then when you pull the card, tell us what card you've pulled and what the word means for you.
Okay. I'll go right in the middle.
Drum roll, joy roll.
Okay. Grace.
Grace. I love it. So what does that mean for you?
I feel like a reoccurring theme in my life has always been never giving myself enough grace. But I always give other people grace to play in my face. I give people grace when, you know, I have friends who always say, you don't stand up for yourself, or you don't defend yourself how you should. If, like, for example, someone misgenders me. I'll give you a perfect example. I was treated to a spa day from one of my clients this week, and she took me and a bunch of our friends to a nice spa. And the lady, when I walked in, was like, hi, ma'am, how are you? And, you know, all this stuff. And she proceeded to walk me into the men's locker room.
Oh, my.
And that was the first time reverse misgenderism have ever happened to me, because normally if you call me a he, him, I'll get you together right then and there. But she referred to me as a she and a ma'am, but then proceeded to walk me into the men's restroom. And so I was in there, and I'm looking around. I was like, why they got men's deodorant in here? Like, all male products. The toilet seat in the bathroom is up. I said, I don't stand to pee. Like, I have to sit to pee. Like, I can't do that. So I just, in that moment, I was like, I should have marched out of the bathroom and cursed her out and made a scene. But I was like, not going to say nothing. When I was going to get my facial, I passed the women's locker room. And I was like, okay, so it's not a unisex thing. It's okay, man, hold on, wait. And I gave her so much grace that I should not have given her, because she played right in my face and thought it was an ignorant joke for her to play in my face and do that. And I got in the car and I cried for an hour all the way home. And I ended up telling my husband. He was like, babe, you gotta stand up for yourself. You gotta say. And I'm just like, I think I give other people grace that was never given to me by my parents and other people. And so I'm learning to stand my ground and set boundaries, but I'm also sometimes afraid. So I feel like grace for me is always going to be something that I give, because it was never given to me. And so that's what I think about when I think of grace. I do need to start giving myself a little bit more grace, but I don't know how. I don't know how. I know how to give it to others because I know what it feels like not to have any. And so that's kind of that's my relationship with grace.
Okay. Well, can I give you a little homework?
Sure, yeah, I love
for grace. So over the next couple of weeks, I would love for you to be conscious about grace.
Okay.
Specifically extending grace to yourself. Okay. And in every decision that you make, say, is this bringing me joy?
Oh, okay.
Is this bringing me joy?
Okay.
And if it's a situation where you're about to extend grace to someone else, I want to encourage you to pause.
Okay.
Just pause and breathe and say, is this bringing me joy? Because I think oftentimes what happens is we're consumed with bringing other people joy. And so we give that grace away. And
I agree.
And by default, we end up giving our joy away too.
I agree.
And so I want to encourage you to do that over the
I will.
next
I
couple of
will.
weeks.
I will do that.
Wonderful.
I will do that. And I thank you for that. Because oftentimes I tell people stories. There's no homework or any follow up. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
Hmm.
And I'm like, why are you sorry? I'm telling it to you as a survivor,
Yeah.
not a victim.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like giving myself grace does have a level of thought that has to go into it. So I do like that pause, take a break, and ask myself, like, does this find me joy? Like, is this gonna, bring me the grace that I need to give myself? And I think slowly but surely I will get to a place where I know what grace for myself is, but that's still a journey that I'm on. And I think that will help me continue on that journey to understand what it looks like to give grace to myself. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And thank you, Chanel, for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. This is Focal Point, y'all. We'll be right back after this break. Joy isn't something we have to chase. It's something we create, something we allow. And when we make space for it, it rises. If you've been searching for that kind of joy, I mean real lasting, soul level joy, I'd love to help guide you on that journey. My new book, Joy, A Journey to Choosing, Creating, and Living in Joy, is now available on Amazon. So wherever you are, take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let your heart open and let your joy rise. This is your Focal Point.